Poets, spiritualists, and scientists have considered it. But what if this all is a dream? Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. What if those words were actual? I must admit, under the influence of entheogens and while meditating, it has seemed to me that this reality is much more like a dream than like the materialist collection of accidents that I formerly supposed. So what would that actually mean to our day-to-day living out of our lives if in fact this reality is the thought of the universal consciousness presenting itself as material existence? It has always seemed to me that if the materialists are correct and that matter, life, and consciousness arose by pure chance from the ultimate repetition of accidents, then the most profound and intelligent strategy anyone could assume would be to play the lottery and to try absolutely anything and everything and hope that once again blind chance would fall out in our favor. On the other hand, if the originator of all that we behold and all that we are is an intelligence, a consciousness that initiated all of this that we see, if consciousness is the basis of reality, that changes a very great deal. If we want to examine reality from the standpoint that it may be springing entirely from consciousness, I think we have a good analogy that we've all experienced in our own dreams. And I will go further to say that when I am feeling particularly intuitive or lucid, whether that be from meditation or through use of entheogens like ayahuasca, the parallels between the dream reality and this reality are very apparent. So let's take a moment and analyze how things occur, how I view the cause and effect nature of the flow of events in a sleeping dream versus the waking dream. Now, in a sleeping dream, I have frequently had the experience of being unable to flee. That is, there's something that I am afraid of, wish to get away from, and yet my legs will not operate in the normal fashion. It is as though I'm slogging through cold molasses. Of course, the first thing I would do in the real world is get my legs checked out by a doctor. You know, what's wrong with my spine, doc? Why can't I run anymore? Yet in a dream, I realize that the dream experience of being unable to run is based on my fears, my feelings of powerlessness, the inevitability of my doom. I know that it's a psychological cause and effect. Another dream I've experienced occasionally is that of being late for class, that anxiety of not being able to find the right classroom and time ticking away. And in these situations, the school is incredibly complex with huge long hallways, and it's impossible to get my bearings. Now, in the real world, I would curse out the architect who designed that facility. In the dream world, I realize that the architect is not a factor, unless I'm thinking that maybe the architect of the universe has stacked the odds against me, but usually it's a playing out a scenario, a metaphor, an archetype for my feelings of anxiety and falling behind and not being able to live up to expectations. And I'm going to state right here, right off the bat, that I think in this world, being late for appointments, an endless string of red lights and traffic, these type of things are also examples, metaphors, archetypes, the playing out of our own feelings of not enough time, of blockages of flow of energy, and inadequacy. Another huge area to examine is that of other people in our experience. In the dream world, the sleeping dream world, I very rarely view any of the characters that I interact with, human, animal, even sometimes elements of the environment, as actual or real. They represent certain ideas, certain figures, archetypes in my life, fathers, mothers, friends, lovers, bosses, people in position of authority. I don't think they're the real people. I think they're a placeholder that's reflecting back to me my viewpoint, my energy surrounding those positions. Could it be that in the real world, the people that we think are so real and so autonomous are actually reflecting back to us our own beliefs, our own feelings and viewpoints about ourselves and our relationship with the world? Now, if the individuals, the personalities, the characters in a sleeping dream are actually reflections of myself and my own psychology, they cannot impart to me any knowledge or understanding beyond what I contain in my own mind, at best in my own subconscious. Yet in the waking world, I look constantly to others for education, information, insights, instructions, ways of thinking that I believe will teach me and lead me further. And I also believe I can help other people and give to them things they do not know. And yet, if they are actually reflections of my own psyche in the real world as they are in the dream world, then that's a fairly futile endeavor. Since effort, activity, and struggle have not yielded the results that I would expect based on my lofty estimation of myself and my abilities, I think I owe it to myself to explore and experiment with this alternative viewpoint and mode of operation. If this is a dream, I am playing out a storyline, choosing my motives, choosing the characters, choosing how my interactions with them will play out, and I have far more control over the nature of my experience than the materialist view could ever grant me. I am not a victim of anything. Everything I have experienced has been a reflection of my viewpoints and my choices, and if I can simply get on top of my own thinking, expectations, and viewpoints of reality, the sky is the limit. Anything is possible. I can experience anything I can honestly imagine and believe.
Kneel before your God, Emperor.
Just kidding.
Just kidding about the kidding. On your knees.
So as much for my benefit as possibly yours, I intend to examine exactly ways in which we would act differently to bring about experiences, situations, and objects into our life that we want, if indeed this reality functions from the same basic premises as a dream instead of the premises of the materialistic, reductionist world.